Now, I didn't ask for it, and we don't have space for this thing, but if it is worth a damn at all, I'm going to donate it to my students. What's up, motivators? Welcome back. It's Kevin. This is Pure Bullfit, and today we have a little bit of an unexpected opportunity. I'm going to be sharing with you my review, my thoughts on the DD07 hack squat leg press combo machine from GMWD. Now, I was not expecting to be reached out by this company. I'm not actually particularly very familiar with them. They just reached out and asked if I'd be interested in going over this machine for the low price of a 2-minute unboxing video. No, that is not how we do things around here. If I agree to test your product and you send it to me, I'm going to give you a full-on review. Now, I got to say 99% at least of the things that come into my inbox, I either ignore, I say no thank you to. I very, very seldom say, yeah, I'm going to test your product, I'm going to check it out. And that's because most of the things that people are reaching out, trying to get us to do a review on, have nothing to do with health and wellness, our community, our approach. Heavily involve things like a proprietary blend, which I'm not really behind. If I can't tell you what's in it and it's at an efficacious dose, I really don't want to tell my community, hey, this is a thing I think you should try. So the vast majority of these contacts do not end up being a review. And this would have been one of those no's, because as I said, we haven't got room for this. It was last year that we gave all of our home gym equipment to a coworker who lives very remotely, has a hard time getting to the gym, and it was really just going to make a huge impact on his life. So we gave my power rack, all of my accessories, all of my plates, everything that we had to our coworker James, and he has been doing marvelous things with it. So I don't even have a home gym anymore. And this is definitely a home gym unit. So why the heck did I agree to this? Well, I happen to remember a conversation I had with the head of the physical education department over at the high school that my wife and I work at. We work at a nonprofit high school that serves international kids, the rural kids and some local kids, providing them with a preparatory experience. But because it's nonprofit, budget is always a huge issue. And we were talking about the wish list that we have for the school gym, for the athletic center that we have on campus. Leg press was the #1 item. Hack squat machine, not so much. Budget being the huge concern that it is, I immediately thought of that conversation and said, oh, hell, if this is stable, if this is solid, if this could possibly stand the use and abuse of teenage kids, we may have just solved the problem here. So I said yes in hopes that this would live up to some basic expectations for utility, performance, and durability. And my wife and I over the last couple of days tested the hell out of it. But seeing as this is a home gym unit at a rather affordable price for a leg press, I had some concerns going in. First and foremost was going to be quality. Looking at the welds, they're secure, but not all of them go all the way around every piece of unit that they're connecting. That leaves space for things like water, insects, or whatever to get in there. So while this is a home gym unit, this is not an outdoor unit as I currently have it set up. It is rated for being able to use 1,500 pounds, which I've got 500 pounds on here right now. And with standard size plates or standard thickness plates, you're going to have a really hard time getting 1,500 pounds on here. But one of my really big questions was, should you be putting 1,500 pounds on here? The leg press variation specifically, the pad is held in place by this pin. It does have some backline supports here, but just holding it, this moves a bit. And I had some great concerns how this is going to handle even 500 pounds, which is also what I imagine about the heaviest working weight we're going to see any of these students attempt to use. We have a single column here that's holding all of the weight, whether or not your back is placed against that pad or whether your feet are placed in the hack squat position. This thing is more narrow than your average leg press machine. Is it stable? Does it move around a lot? It's got a bit of sway to it. Did it feel like a good leg press or hack squat experience? And lastly, range of motion. Is this going to be usable by people my size? And after a couple of days, my wife and I testing the absolute hell out of this thing, I can say I have addressed all of those concerns. I at least have my answers. So when talking about things like range of motion, yes, I can go through an entire range of motion on both the back squat and the leg press with this machine. One of the things that you're going to want to do is to make sure that that back plate is all the way up in its highest position, bringing you as close to the sled as possible. If you're having range of motion issues, that's going to be the answer. One of the things that you need to consider is that this safety mechanism, this is as low as it goes. And for some folks, particularly shorter folks, that might be a limiting factor in your range of motion. You cannot take this out. I would not advise taking this out. This is your safety mechanism. However, you could put something like a raised box on this platform on the bottom, and that would help you get this sled into a higher starting position, therefore giving you the appropriate range of motion if you're particularly on the short king side. As far as its weight capacity, I put this thing under a 24-hour load test with 500 pounds on it.
All right, 24 hours later, this thing appears to still be doing fine. The welds are holding on exactly as they should. Nothing is bent at a strange angle. It didn't crash down. Now, this is only 500 pounds on something rated for 1,500 pounds. But this is as much as I expect these kids to ever be using this thing. So I'm gonna call this a pass and we're gonna move on.
My concerns about the welds are purely about water and things like that getting in. We kind of beat the snot out of this. I jumped up and down on it. I rattled it back and forth. I put a bunch of weight on it. I took 500 pounds for a spin to the tune of several sets of 15 reps, some of them high velocity. I let the weight slam all the way down onto the safety mechanism, and the only damage that occurred to it is this tiny bit on the pad where I forgot in the hack squat position to take the pad off to begin with. Honestly, the thing is surprisingly solid. Top marks there. My biggest concern about its safety was this pin holding the bulk of the weight. I do think that there should be a better design for that. I'm not sure what that design is because they use that to make it a very quick change. I'm not sure what a workaround would be, but in the back of my mind is always going to be the worry, is that really holding on enough? Because after that, all that's holding this on is these two bolts and a couple of lever arm appendages in the back acting as stoppers. So it's exceeding my expectations thus far, but a place where I would mark it down is the size of this pad here for your feet. For anybody who likes a wider stance, has longer legs, like myself, this is not really enough room to get comfortable. Yeah, sure, I can get through an entire range of motion, but there isn't enough space in here for me to put one of my legs and then safely allow this entire sled to come up and down, nor is there enough room for me to get a really good high foot position comfortably using this pad. I would really prefer something a bit different. Where I think it performs significantly better is the hack squat variation. This feels extremely close to the commercial gym grade hack squats that I have used all over town. I was able to go really heavy for me for a hack squat, which is about 4 plates at a maximum for 1 rep, if I've got enough room on the foot plate to get that proper stance that I like. This one is a little bit narrow for that. I was unable to get 405. Almost. Oh. Okay, so we didn't get the rep. I'm down in the bottommost position. The stopper has stopped me. I feel safe. I can exit this just fine. But it did allow me to test, hey, can I safely get out from under this unit if I completely fail a rep? And the answer is absolutely yes. In addition to these top posts for the weight plates, we have an armature underneath where you can load plates on either side additionally. And for that dynamic effort, we have 2 pins on the bottom so we can add some bands, attach those to the bottom rack, and it'll allow us to add that variable resistance that a lot of folks seem to enjoy. Switching this unit from leg press to hack squat is extremely simple. You simply put the plate down, move the backrest, and if you're smart, you take out the seat so the sled's not banging into it. Now you're ready to go. Now, for a relatively well-trained, strong human being, it is not uncommon at all to be able to go well over 1,000 pounds on the leg press. Not that it's anything to brag about, but I have done a set of 22. So for those people, the leg press specifically, the amount of weight that you can get on here might be an issue. Honest, real, standard size plates, you're probably going to get 4 to 5 on these top pylons and underneath another 4 to 5 on either side. It's going to be really difficult to get to what this machine is supposedly rated at using these. However, I will say that this is a significant improvement over the DD06, which only had a 400-pound weight limit on that unit. What they've done in 1 generation is more than triple the amount of weight that you conceivably could be able to use. That previous model had 2 of these spine bars for the frame holding it up on the back, 1 on either side. This one only has the centerpiece. So that gave me some pause for concern that this is perhaps as fragile as Mike Van Week's ego and has less integrity in its structure than he does in his entire body. But fortunately, after a lot of testing, I've found this thing is perfectly stable. It's not going to rock and fall on you. It's not going to tip over. The welds aren't going to give out. The action on the sled is smooth, all hundreds and hundreds of little bearings. I tested this all the way up to 500 pounds of plate weight. This thing moves smooth with all of those weights with absolutely no problem, no hitching, no slowing down. It's surprisingly well put together. Speaking of putting it together, it took us about 3.5 hours using the tools that were provided in the box plus one adjustable wrench. But I don't think that that's a fair assessment of how difficult it is actually to put it together, because both my wife and I are neurospicy and easily distracted. Okay.
Afraid I was gonna go right through your fucking heart.
Baby,
I don't want to hurt you.
You already went through my heart.
Oh, my turn.
I love my organs. I need you to know. I need you to know. Okay, hold on. I need you to know.
Wait. Let me tell you something. All right. Let me tell you something.
I signed up to be an organ donor. Don't injure them if I die. Oh, I'm so scared. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I can't do it for you. I'm not strong.
You made me litter.
I'm sweating so bad right now.
Yeah, you can see why it took as long as it did. So at the end of the day, with my considerable list of concerns going into this, how did it fare? It met or exceeded all of my expectations, and my complaints, I can understand why they made the design choices they did with the small foot pad for the leg press. It is endemic with a lot of these home gym machines that the foot pad has a tendency to be small. That's a personal preference of mine. If it's not a big concern for you, then it shouldn't be at all. So is this going to be good enough for my students? Absolutely yes. I'll be donating this later this week. We'll deliver it shortly after I've taken some of the old cardio equipment that is either broken or unused out of the athletic center to make room for it. I'm very, very grateful to GMWD for reaching out, thinking to ask me to review this piece of equipment. I know that it helps these companies out because it's a hell of a lot better deal than paying for ads on Google or on YouTube and things like that, just to expose this stuff in front of our audiences and see if there's any interest. Would I suggest that you, at home, if you've got a home gym and you're looking for a leg press, hack squat, or both? Yeah, absolutely. If you have an indoor situation, such as a garage, you're not worried about a little bit of water getting in the cracks, you don't necessarily need a massive foot pad for your leg press needs. This is a really, really good option. And while I don't have any sort of professional relationship, no agreement, neither of us has brought up an agreement about working together in the future, nothing of the sort. I've went ahead and included the Amazon link to this particular machine. I'd watch it in the next week. Maybe Black Friday will pop up and you'll get a good deal or something to that effect. But it is a good machine. It is a good option. This covers a lot of lower body leg development needs. I can see this working for a whole lot of people. So yeah, it gets the PBF stamp of approval. All right, guys, that's it. I am excited to have something else that we can give these kids to help them grow strong, stay athletic, be active. Starting early is one of the best ways to set these habits moving forward. But just because you're not a high school student doesn't mean that it's too late for you. If you're looking to get back to the gym, just getting started for the first time, don't know where to start, looking for a free program, some general advice on how to get started, how to deal with nutrition and things like that, I have put together a 40-page free document for you. It's linked below as always. In addition to that, I offer coaching services. You can always hit me up for that. If you're looking just to save a little bit of money, I've included some links down there that are to the affiliate codes that I have or permanent coupons that I have managed to get for the community. All of that is in the description below. So that's it. That's the video for today. If you liked it, they got a button for that. If you didn't like it, they got a button for that too. Either way, let me know about it in the comment section below. If you got any questions, comments, or concerns, or personal experiences with this particular piece of equipment, I would also love to hear. So until I see you again, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and find a little time to go fit yourself.